Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pastor Jerone TV. I'm your host, Pastor Jerone. Today's another great day to be walking with God, to be in the light of the Lord. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment, please. Here, love it and look forward to reading your comments. Well, we got to talk about this dude here, Carl Lentz, from the Hillsong Church. Carl Lentz, Hillsong Church. He was a part of the Hillsong Church here in America. Hillsong Church started in 1983 or something like that in Australia. And man, you talking about some of the best worship music ever. Some of the best worship music ever. Hillsong, and that's how they became very popular in Australia, and then begin to spring up all around the world, you know, with the lights, the camera, and the great singing. That's how Hillsong was like really just like thrust out there. They've had a lot of issues, especially with infidelity, especially with homosexuality. But this dude, Carl Lentz, he was a pastor of the Hillsong Church in New York. And you had people like Justin Bieber, who was there. And Justin Bieber was supposed to have given his life to the Lord. And I didn't believe it, and I still don't believe it, because here's the thing, okay? As soon as Justin Bieber comes into the church, you put him up into praise and worship. That's not how it should go. I don't care what you are in the world. You're a celebrity, ball player, star, movie star. You come into the church, you've got to learn now the subculture of the church. You got to learn the kingdom of God. You got to go through training. This is what Paul did. Paul was a theologian. Paul was one of the smartest people in his day from the Sanhedrin. But that didn't make him ready for the spirit and the church age. So he had to sit at the feet of Gamaliel for 3.5 years. Understand? In order to learn what the letter killeth, but the spirit maketh alive. And he had to learn that everything in the Old Testament pointed to Christ. All the sacrifices, the colors, the materials, the prophets, the kings. All of that spoke of Christ, because the Old Testament was a shadow and Jesus Christ coming was the substance of the Old Testament. And for all you Old Testament Christians that don't receive the substance, you're still in the shadow. You don't have anything, because all that stuff spoke of Christ, the sacrifice, the blood offerings, all of that. So if these guys are not getting their rectum smashed by another man, they're having affairs on their wives. And this is exactly what Carl Lentz did. He had an affair with his wife. The story goes that while he was in New York, he went to the park and he saw this girl. And she said he told her that God told him to go up and tell her that she was special and all this kind of stuff. A little slick, little church talk, slick little pathetic. They say it's been prophetic, but it's pathetic. So he goes up, tells her, God, he was lusting. God told him to tell her that she's worth, she don't know her worth, and that she needs to know her worth, that she's valuable. And from there they exchange numbers, and you know how it go. And pretty much once you get a person's number, you in there. Once they give you your number, they give you their number, you in there. You in there like swimwear. And for you people that's married, and you're giving your number out to all types of people, that's dangerous ground. I understand. You got business, you got to handle business, you got friends, do all that stuff. But when you could tell when somebody's coming up. You could tell when somebody's coming up. You could tell when they're coming up and they're choosing. And if they're texting you for no reason, strange little reason, oh, I just wanted to say hello, how's your day, all that kind of stuff. No, I didn't give you my number for that. Okay? But I thought this dude, looking at Carl Lentz, the pastor of Hillsong in New York, he was fired. His wife was fired. His wife's name is Laura. She didn't have the affair, but she was fired because ministry teams working together get fired together. So because of her husband's indiscretions and evils and selfishness, she got fired too. So she lost her job. But I don't think they have much to worry about. I think they can live off their savings for a couple of months, I'm guessing, because his net worth is 2.5 million. So they doing all right off the church. Although this guy, what happens is these guys come into these churches, these cookie cutter churches. They go in there and they're there for a couple of months and they attend Bible study and they're in worship service. And then they go through the seminar and the training and they train them how to get on stage, how to present a message, how to be a pastor. And they go up there and do it. Now, this has nothing to do with the heart. They're just doing what they was trained to do. They were never converted. You know, when God came to Abraham, he says, now, Abraham, through you, my Messiah is coming. And I need to have a people who have sexual control. They need to have control of their sexual desires. Huh? They need to have control. So the first thing God says, he says, Abraham, you ready to cut the covenant with me? You ready? He said, yeah. He said, okay, well then circumcise the foreskin of your flesh. What? What kind of God are you? He said, yeah. He said, I'm interested in the children that you're going to give birth to because my Messiah is coming out of there. And any pastor or pastorette who cannot stay out of the folks' beds and illicit sex, you're not married to people, you're not a part of God's kingdom. Okay? You're going to be rejected. Now just look, imagine the lives that this dude is destroying. See, I noticed how the media is spinning this thing with Carl Lentz, Pastor Carl Lentz, is that they're saying this is Justin Bieber's pastor. This is Justin Bieber's. So if Justin Bieber does have a desire for God, and although I don't think he's converted, he should have been under training before he put him up to the mic. But I guess they wanted to use his celebrity to draw other celebrities. But you're hurting that soul. I would have sat Justin Bieber down. I would have said, you're not to sing or anything like that until the Spirit lets me know that you're ready. Because you're a star out in the world, then you come into church and you're still a star. You haven't been through anything yet. You haven't learned anything. You haven't crucified your flesh. You haven't got that pride out of you. And you need to get that out of you so you can be submissive to the Spirit of God. You're just operating in the flesh off of some skill that you got singing. That's not the Spirit. But I just feel bad for the members of the church. Well, here's the thing. If I would have walked into Carl Lentz's church and I saw him just looking at his picture, I would have got up and left because I would think this dude is a punk. You know, you coming out with your nut pants on, you got your balls out, you know, you got your penis print showing, real tight clothes with your hair all whipped over to the side and stuff like that. That's gay looking, man. Or like Eddie Long coming out with them tight muscle shirts and tight pants on in front of all the women in the church. I said, there's a sexual perversion operating in that man. You couldn't tell that he was gay, but you can tell that there was something lustful operating in him by the way he was dressing. You don't do that. You got all these thousands of people, and if I'm a husband, I'm bringing my wife to let my pastor stand up there, although he's only about 5, I think he was about 5'7", big old head, taking them steroids. That's probably what gave him they said it was cancer, but it was rectum cancer or AIDS. And that's what you get. And in hell, you lift up your eyes. Sexual sin is destroying the church. And the Catholic Church and the Methodist Church and the Pentecostal Church and the First Baptist and the Third Baptist and the Eighth Baptist, all of them are starting to embrace sexual perversion and saying that homosexuality is right. When did God change that? I didn't get the memo. But even with the memo, I'm like, heck no. Ain't gonna be none of that stuff. Not in my church. Definitely not in my life. It's disgusting. It's messed up. And it's disgusting for a pastor to have a wife and a family and to do what this dude did. And that young lady, she said that they were in love. I think her name was Ranin, Ranin. And she said that they were in love and she loved him and, now she's messed up. All from a man who's supposed to be doing the healing. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Let me know what y'all think about this. Here we are in the middle of a spiritual battle. And we would have lost the battle had God not raised up a man like Donald Trump. And he is fighting against the spirit of Jezebel. And he's going to be the president again. He is going to be the president again. These demons are just out here just posturing. But they lost, and they know they lost. This is what the devil does. He know he lost. But he's going to parade around and bluff as if he won. He's bluffing as if he won. But the confident people of God, you just let them parade around. You're like, yeah, okay. You're going to get tired. And eventually when God gets ready, he's going to present the stuff on out there. And I'll be in my rightful place. And you will be in your rightful place under my feet. All right. Leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless.